Today we are going to test reduced loads in our concealed carry pistol. Today we are going to shoot a Ruger LCR in 38 Special. Concealed carry guns are often small, hard to handle, recoil's outrageous, and in some cases just scary for some shooters to comfortably fire. What we're going to do today is we are going to build 5 reduced loads for this revolver. Now, when reducing a load for a concealed carry gun, you have to take into consideration a revolver. All of the moving parts are mechanical and inflicted all by the double action of the trigger. If you have a semi-auto concealed carry, if you were to try to build a reduced load for that, you would have to have some gun modifications so it could cycle reliably. But with this revolver, we will not have an issue with cycling. So we are going to start out at 3 grains of Clay's powder. And then we're going to slowly reduce it down to 2.7, 2.4, 2, and 1.7 grains. We have a double redundancy we're going to do to try to maintain as consistent of a load as we can across the platform. We're going to try 4 different projectiles. We're going to do a round nose cast 125 grain hard alloy, a 125 grain hand cast pointed projectile with a softer alloy. Then we're going to do a Hornady hollow point 115 grain. Then we're going to do a Hornady 125 grain self-defense hollow point. Okay. With all 4 of those projectiles and all 5 of those different charge weights, we are going to test penetration by shooting 2x6s. We're going to see what a concealed carry load does at 7 yards into a 2x6. And what you're going to probably find out here is a reduced load still packs a pretty good punch. Okay, that one didn't even clear the revolver. Alright, didn't even clear the revolver. You can see it right there. So we got to get our rod out and press that out. Okay, a quick review. The 3 grains of Clay's across all 4 different projectiles, they all went completely through the piece. So 3 grains all the way through. 2.7 grains Hornady critical defense went a halfway through the board, so it didn't go through. Hornady hollow point went halfway through. This is 2.7 grains, remember that. The hand cast pointed went all the way through. You can see where it peeled that completely up, went completely through. The hand cast round went 3/4 of the way through. That's the one that actually split the wood, but didn't go all the way through. 2.7 grains. 2.4 grains, the Hornady critical, right here, just sitting right on the surface, you know. The Hornady hollow point, it went halfway through. The hand cast, all the way through again. That's the pointed one, okay? Then the hand cast round nose went 3/4 of the way, you know? Split that wood again, hitting pretty solid. You know, that's what that round is doing. It's got a lot of punch to it. That's why it's splitting them. It's almost like, you know, a semi-wad cutter effect, you know, when you think about it. So, 2 grains of Clay's. The Hornady critical, like a nail, flat with the surface. Okay. Hornady hollow point, it just hit the front of the board and bounced right off. Then the hand cast pointed halfway through. And then the hand cast round, it's right there, went about a quarter of the way through. Okay, 2 grains. Okay, moving on to the last section here. This is the interesting one. Okay, 1.7 grains. Okay, the hand cast pointed, went halfway through. Okay, that was pretty good. Then the Hornaday hollow point. Okay, just the hollow point one. That one just hit the surface. Found it on the ground. Okay, then the Hornaday critical. This is the one that got stuck in the barrel. It was probably 1/4 of an inch to 3/8 of an inch from clearing the muzzle, but it did not clear the muzzle. 1.7 grains, okay? Then the hand cast round nose actually left the barrel, barely had enough velocity, and it hit just in front of the stand on the steel table, and you can see where it nicked the projectile and kind of flattened it. All right, so one thing to take away from this is if you are a hand loader and you hand load, remember the first thing you need to do is test your firearm, test your ammo. Make sure it's doing exactly what you want it to do. In this little test we did here on the critical defense that has those notches on the projectile and stuff, is designed to expand quicker so that it actually doesn't necessarily go through, and it proved that here that it was stopping as soon as it was hitting, and that gives you an idea how the critical defense works. Then just a regular hollow point, it doesn't have any of those serration or those lines on it that help it expand. So it actually was doing a little bit better penetration wise through this test. But of course, it is the lightest bullet we have here at 115 grains. So now moving on to the hand cast. The hand cast actually proved to be the most penetrating, and my assumption on that is the way that it bumps up because it's softer on ignition, that maybe it builds up a little bit more pressure even with a lesser powder charge. So yeah, I mean, can't knock hand casting. So thanks for tuning in. We'll see you later.